bring up more North American Puyo players.
Congratulations on your victory!
But we didn't change.
Stop that tension!
Stop. So
Yeah.
if there was green.
かけさざるを得ないですね。いやここで10万4000点先打ち。
4年ぐらいですね。一から繰り出すっていうのが得意です。世界中のいろいろなプレイヤーと対戦してみたいですね。Let's join the Puyo Puyo tournament together!
ぷよぷよバトルスタート。
Hello everyone! Today we are thrilled to bring you the final tournament of Global Ranking Series 2026 SEGA Official Tournament 1. I'm your host Kaori Horiuchi. I'm so hyped for this tournament. And joining me today for the live commentary is Yoshi. Welcome Yoshi, great to have you here.
Hello, thanks for having me, Kaori. I'm Yoshi. It's great to be here for another season of PGRS, and I'm really looking forward to the matches today.
So it will be the two of us guiding you through the matches today, and we really hope that you will enjoy the tournament. And first off, let's go over the details for Puyo Puyo Global Ranking Series, PGRS for short. スライドお願いします。Welcome to the Puyo Puyo Global Ranking Series 2026 SEGA's official tournament to grow the global Puyo Puyo community. Earn global points in community and SEGA events to climb the worldwide leaderboard. And top players will be invited to the SEGA Puyo Puyo Grand Prix final in 2027. Next, let's take a look at the schedule for PGRS. 次のスライドお願いします。There we go. So this is the schedule. PGRS will feature 4 official tournaments by SEGA, 4 official tournaments by Ascension, 3 special community tournaments, and many other community tournaments scheduled worldwide. By participating and performing well in these events, players can earn global points, which will determine the world rankings. From the global point standings, the top 2 players from the Japan region, along with a top player aged 15 or under, will be invited to Puyo Puyo Grand Prix final scheduled for next March. Additionally, for the other region, the top 32 ranked players will compete in Puyo Puyo Global Ranking Series other region finals, and the top 2 players from that event will also receive invites to Puyo Puyo Grand Prix final. So Yoshi, it looks like we have invites to Grand Prix final for both the Japan region and the other region again this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like last year, this means overseas Puyo players will continue to have their chance. I'm really excited to see what players emerge this time around.
Yeah, cannot wait to see. Alright, so now let's take a look at the overview of the tournament. はいどうお願いします。This tournament will proceed with a group stage, followed by a final tournament. There are a couple major changes from last year. First, this year's official SEGA tournaments will be played on the Steam version of Puyo Puyo Champions. Also, while last series was divided into the Japan and the other regions, this year, players from all around the world will compete together in a single regions division. For the group stage, participants will be divided into round-robin groups based on the number of entrants. The top player from each group will advance to the final tournament. The final tournament will be a 16-player single elimination bracket featuring those top group winners, and global points will be awarded based on their final placements in this tournament. Match rules will be first to 5 for the group stage, and after round 2 of the final tournament. And from the semifinals onward, matches will be first to 10. Alright, next slide please. Here are the points awarded to the top placing players. The points awarded change based on the number of participants. For this tournament, since we have 140 players entered, thank you everyone for participating. The first place will receive 100 points, and second place gets 50 points, and top 4 will receive 30 points. Top 8 will receive 15 points, and top 16, 8 points. And for the entry, players will earn 3 points. Alright, so next, we'd like to introduce our community Discord server. It features a variety of content, including tournament announcements, a Q&A segment for new users, and community matchups. Whether this stream sparks your interest in Puyo Puyo or you're already a Puyo Puyo player, this is a server where absolutely everyone is welcome. You can join via the QR code you can see on the screen or the link in the YouTube description. If you haven't joined this Discord server, come join the community. Alright, so today we have amazingly 140 players participated in the group stage, and now we have top 16 players advanced to this final tournament. So do you have any key players you're looking into or any players?
Yeah, so at the end of last year's season, we had the players Didier Dan and Void come through in the grand finals, and they came to Japan for the Grand Prix finals. So that was a player from the US, Dan is from
Right.
the US, and Void was from Brazil. And then in the previous year, they had myself, so I'm from Australia, and we also had Villain from Korea as well. So a few key players who have already come to Japan. This year particularly, we're also looking out for Rick from Taiwan, who's making moves as well.
All right, there are so many key players who actually advanced to this final tournament, and probably all the viewers, probably you've seen the results for the top 16 players as well. So we have so many matches from now on, but we cannot miss any of them. We have to be like, I'm so excited for all the matches. And you know, like, Puyo Puyo has players all over the world, right? And do you know how many regions our players are joining from in this tournament, Yoshi?
I'd say maybe like 10 at least.
10. Actually,
Yeah.
we got 22.
22.
Yes,
Incredible.
22
That is a
regions.
massive number.
I
Wow.
know,
Our
right?
international community has been growing so much over the past year or two. Like, 2 years ago in these international tournaments, maybe there'd only be like 5 regions. 22 is amazing. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for participating. And also, speaking of Puyo Puyo Champions, it will be featured as an official title at the Aichi Nagoya 2026 Asian Games. This year's iteration of Asia's largest sports competition, an event held once every 4 years. The schedule for the preliminaries and the finals will be announced on their official website at a later date. We would appreciate support of the Puyo Puyo Champions players competing at the Aichi Nagoya 2026 Asian Games. Alright, so we have been running the group stage today so far, and looks like we got all the results, so let's take a look at the results. Alright, so this is a ranking for Block A, I believe.
Yes, that's right. So we'll go block by block. First of all, we have Tom, the legend, the superstar. He has not played in a high-level tournament for quite a while now because he's usually been doing commentary.
right.
Very excited to see him here today.
Right, let's take a look at the Block B if we could, maybe. Oh yeah, okay, there we go.
Alright. And we have Sake Gohan at the top. He is, I believe, qualified as a pro player since this February when he
Right.
managed to snag a license for himself. So he's also been up and coming, I believe a high school player as well. Very strong.
Alright, let's move on to Block C.
Yes, in this one we have Ore Ore, who is a player from Japan that I haven't heard of before. Second place here we had Gonzalvo, so a very good effort there. But I'm
that
very
was
curious to see how Ore
Yeah,
Ore goes.
that was a very, very close match, I guess. Gonzaga had 4 wins and 2 lose, right? And the point-wise,
Yeah.
just 2 different, 2 points difference.
Exactly. Yeah, very close points differences.
Oh, actually 5 points, I'm sorry. So win points was 10, and then win points for Gonzalvo was 8. And a point difference was 5. But that was very close. All right,
Yes,
let's...
definitely.
Yep, so we have Block D as well. All right, there we go.
Here we have Puni-chan, a very young player who made some great steps in last year's season as well, always knocking me out of bracket at the very least. So he's super strong and it's great to see him participating here again. Won by only a point difference of 1 against Pepe Man,
Right.
and by 3 against Alf, who are also legendary players. So this is just incredible to see him growing.
All right, let's take a look at Block E.
Here we have a couple international players. So we had Void from Brazil, who we mentioned earlier, who came to Japan last year. He came first place in the block, but Anamaru from the US, also a growing player who has risen in the international scene recently. Great to see her taking second place here.
All right, let's take a look at F. Block F. There we go.
All right. Here we have Yoshi, another young player from Japan. I believe he was playing in the Grand Prix finals this year as well. So great to see him still putting in a fantastic effort, even against players like Hov. Hov is a very strong player from Japan as well, but it looks like Yoshi was able to sweep this group 6-0. So really, really good play there.
All right, let's move on to G. So we
In
got
G, we
Taiwanese
have-
player.
That's right, the legendary TVP Rick. He is another young player, but doing a really great job of representing Taiwan and trying to be the top international player right now.
All right, let's move on to the next block.
All right, in H, we have Saki. I think a lot of you would be familiar with him by now. A pro player, he live streams every single day, very committed to Puyo. And he was able to take down some other legendary players like Waffle and Chemistry. So super strong sweep this time around to make it to top 16.
All right, let's move on to the next block.
Yes, in I we have an interesting player, Ku. He hasn't played competitively for a few years, but he does hold a pro license. So it's great to see him competing again. In second place, we have Yamuyu there as well. Very close. Also a really strong player. Unfortunate he didn't make it this time.
All right, let's move on to the next block, which is J.
Yes, so we have Ricky bringing up the front with this one. Another sweep in this block. Very strong player from Japan, alongside Titan. They've both played in very high-level tournaments in the SEGA esports series, so great to see them returning for some more as well here.
All right, let's move on to K.
In K, we have some more international players. We have Akliv right at the top though, another top Taiwanese player. Great to see him competing here and also taking this bracket with a clean sweep of 7-0. And then we also have Neko in second place from Vietnam. Great to see them also competing and managing to get second place even though they only started competing a few months ago.
All right, let's move on to L.
Here we have Kyoto, very strong 6-0 in this block. Strong Japanese player, good to see him competing in more big tournaments. Ki-kun coming up second place here. I believe there were another young player who even gave the likes of Tomokun trouble in the Grand Prix finals this year. So good second place, not quite enough to qualify though.
All right, let's move on to M.
And
Yeah.
here we have the big name himself, Yuki, 10, maybe 11 years old by now, the player who just became a pro and is winning basically every single competition recently. So we'll see if he manages this tournament too.
And I believe for this block, he did not lose any games.
That's right, really showing that dominance over every other player.
All right, so let's move on to block N.
Here we have Ribe, another pro player, a very classic name. He also went 7-0 in his block, so a super strong performance, and it'll be great to see if he can take another championship this time as well.
Let's move on to block O.
Here we have Yorosoma, another of the classic top Japanese players, 6-0 in his block, really, really solid, showing just how strong he is and that he is retaining his position at the top.
All right, let's move into the last block, which is P.
And in P, we have a villain who we also talked about from Korea. Great to see him competing in this season as well. 6-0, making himself get into the top 16. It'll be great to see how far he makes it in this time.
All right, so we just looked at all the blocks we have for the group stage, and I cannot wait to see what kind of matches unfold in the final tournament. All right, so we're now about to begin the top 16 single elimination matches. Please enjoy the battles unfolding between those top players from around the world. And the matches will start shortly, but while we get everything prepared, we'd like to introduce sponsors and partners supporting this event. スライドお願いします。All right, so we are ready. We'll show you these sponsor slide. Alright. It might take a while, so let's just oh, there we go. Sorry. Okay, so we'll take a look at this first. The tournament's bracket. Upcoming final tournaments. Alright. So as we explained each block, so we got 16 players advancing to this final tournament. So any players you're keeping your eyes on going into this bracket, the first match will be Akliv versus Ku.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how the international players play. That's, of course, a bit biased for me, but, you know, given that this is a global competition, I'm really keeping an eye on Akliv at the moment and Rick. along with Void and Villain. They are our international 4 out of our 16 at the moment, and it looks like they all have to fight Japanese players to make it through. So we'll see if any of them can make it to top 8 this time around.
Right. And we will be watching 2 matches from round 1 and also 2 matches from round 2 today. And I believe for the match 1, we'll be looking at the Ackley versus Ku, and for the match 2, we might be looking into the match between Livet versus Void, which is right there. Right. So, I cannot wait to see all the matches, and from this point on, we're going to be having top 16 single elimination matches. Alright? So, before we get all the players be ready for these matches, let's introduce our sponsors and partners for this event. iOdata Device is sponsoring this event and has kindly provided their gaming monitor Giga Crystal. It is the official monitor for the SEGA official Puyo Puyo esports tournament. Thank you very much for the support. 次のスライドお願いします。Next up is Taiyo Life Insurance Company. Thank you very much, as always, for supporting Puyo Puyo tournaments. 次のスライドお願いします。Next, we have Umbro. They kindly provided the uniforms for all the players in the Puyo Puyo Grand Prix final. Thank you very much for the support. Next is TechWind. Kindly provided their gaming chairs, AK Racing Pro X Series for the Grand Prix. Thank you very much. 次のスライドお願いします。We also have Harman International Japan, which provided their JBL Quantum 910 gaming headsets. You've probably seen the players wearing these headsets at the Grand Prix. 次のスライドをお願いします。Karaoke Can, which provides karaoke spaces, is helping us with promotion by playing our tournament promo video in their stores. How exciting is that? Thank you very much for the support. And that's all for our sponsors. A huge thank you to all the companies for their support. Thank you very much. We really, really appreciate it. All right, everyone. So when players are ready, we'll move on to the very, very first match, which is going to be the match 1 of round 1. It's going to be Ackley versus Ku. What do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, this is going to be a very tense match. From the two of these players, we've seen a lot of Akliv recently because of the fact that he's been competing in a lot of international competitions. And so I've seen a lot of him, but again, Ku hasn't participated in a few years, so I'm not sure if his playstyle will have changed or adapted in any sort of way.
Alright, and for this match, it will be played in first to 5 format. Yep. So Akliv versus Ku. So Ku has been participating in some of the tournaments in the past, but not really actively participating in recent years. Do you remember any playstyle he used to play in the previous
I think he was fairly aggressive, which is an interesting change against Akliv because he has a more defensive playstyle, and so I wonder if they're going to play off of each other because of their difference in playstyles as a result. It's also a little bit more scary at the moment because first to 5 is not very long for a Puyo match. You know, with a first to 10, there is a lot of time to feel your opponent and see what they would like to do. And also, it just limits things like the random number generator, right? There's the random nature of Puyo. Sometimes you don't get the colors you want, and so in a first to 5, that can influence the result of the match. And considering how many more points you get going from top 16 to top 8, there's a lot of pressure on both players at the moment.
And this is going to be the very first match of this final tournament. All right.
Yeah.
So when they are ready, we'll start with the game match. Well, we're going to have match 1 for the round 1 and also match 2. Oh, looks like we're starting. Gonna be Akliv versus Ku.
Yeah, we have Akliv on the left and Ku on the right. So it looks like Ku is still bringing back a bit of a classic GTR style. In fact, their boards at the moment are almost mirrored. So both are playing very efficiently right now, focusing on chain length. Akliv is just taking his time to construct main chain, not looking for any attacks just yet. Ku may be looking for an opening at the moment. His chain is very committed. There's those reds in column 3. Bit hard to get to. Oh, actually, he built up his second transition over on the right. I had no idea. That is completely wild. He sets up his main chain, and Active is now wasting time, unfortunately. But Ku's chain cuts as well, so Active just has no time to finish off what he started. Wow, that is some completely masterful chaining from Ku. Just something that even I didn't process and read correctly. And I think it just caught Akliv off guard. It looked like there was such a massive dependency in column 3. You know, when you make a hole on your board, usually that signals to the opponent that your board state is not very good. And that's why Akliv went for an attack in the first place. But this time around, no. Ku actually had everything planned out from the beginning. Akliv now actually taking the aggressive stance, but this is a lot of resources used. But maybe Ku didn't observe correctly because he takes this damage. And with that, Akliv takes a round, tying it up 1-1. It's quite interesting because usually Akliv is the more defensive player, but he also doesn't slack on opportunities to attack when he sees them. So maybe he's recognizing that Ku's board state gets a little awkward early in the mid-game, and is going to try and capitalize on that. Goes for an early 2-chain. There's a lack of reds at the moment, making things a little awkward. Ku responds in kind, a bit of garbage on the board, but not too much happening at the moment. But once again, Ku's board state is pretty awkward, whereas Akliv is making moves. He has a 4-chain available, considering if he should send that or not. Hesitates. Instead, breaks it down into a 2-chain. Small pokes before the big ones. Does not want to commit too many resources. Ku at the moment is also taking it pretty slow, considering whether to send a big attack. He has a big chain available, but both players are instead playing around with their resources, not wanting to commit to something too large. Otherwise it is a waste of time and resources. Ku does decide to commit to main chain instead. Akliv is having a little bit of difficulty, he needs to extend. Manages to get his main chain off, but he did have to spend a bit of time clearing up resources to get there. So now Ku has extra time to build a second chain to overwhelm Akliv. A nice power 10, but as we mentioned, Ku has had that time to build up a massive second chain. Very confidently sending back with a 7 double. And Akliv just does not have enough time to respond to that. Unfortunately, the time he used recovering his board was just too much. He gave Ku too much time to get that second chain off and respond. Alright, and moving forward, it is now 1-2. Akliv with a small disadvantage, but still feeling like he's playing quite confidently at the moment. Ku's board state is pretty main chain focused at the moment. In fact, Akliv's is too. I think both of them are taking a very passive approach. Okay, no, Ku gets the 1-chain hit and then decides to follow up immediately. A really good way to play around with your opponent is just to send a 1-chain because it's pretty unreactable. If they don't react, they have to take the garbage and that leaves space for a good follow-up. So even though there wasn't an explicit attack set up initially, that 1-chain gave the opening to be able to follow up. Very nice play from Ku. In the end, even though Puyo is a game about making the biggest chain that you can, sometimes the small chains are enough to throw your opponent off. In demonstration, Ku sends off a 2-chain that Akliv does take. It's a little bit awkward now, he's trying to figure out how many resources he wants to spend. 2-chain, but Ku has a 3-chain, makes it very awkward for Akliv. He's got too much garbage covering all of his resources right now, and there is just no way down. And at this rate, it is already 1-4 in Ku's favor. It's a pretty critical time. Akliv is going to need to win 4 in a row, otherwise he will not advance to the next round. A lot of pressure at the moment. He's going to really need to watch out for those smaller pokes, or, just like he did when he won that first round, he needs to initiate as well. Okay, he decides to initiate after all, and Ku does not draw- oh, no, never mind, draws the green just on time to set off main chain. Now the question is whether Akliv can get the extensions he needs to win. He's splitting a lot, is he going to be able to- no, he can't extend the green at the back, which means that his chain length is slightly cut off. It's going to be a 7, which sends back. And Ku does not draw the yellow needed to set up his chain. With so much time pressure, it is so important that the RNG actually agrees with you. But if it doesn't, It's a point for the opponent, which is good for Akliv. So not all hope is lost just yet, still fighting strong. Now, we have a bit of interesting pillar play from Ku at the moment, able to tank Akliv's 1-chain nicely, but Akliv goes for the 3-chain. It's a bit of a gamble, but it does manage to land because Ku does not draw his pieces in time. And with a very nice follow-up, Akliv is able to take a 3rd point. The comeback could be real. Just 2 points to go on Akliv's side. Let's see if this momentum will continue to carry, or if Ku will have to end the game here before it gets too scary. Okay, so for the time being, it looks like Akliv is initiating again. Waited for the perfect moment to do so and has a fantastic follow-up. Although Ku also has a follow-up himself. If he draws the green, he can get the chain off, but he can't. He had a really good follow-up there. A 3 he converted into a 4, and it would have had a 5th link too, but he did need to do that extension at the top of the board in order to get that chain length in. So it used up just a little bit too much time for dangling the piece up there. Incredibly, Akliv has now brought it up to tiebreaker match. Let's see if he initiates first again, or if it'll be Ku this case, yes? Okay, sends a big response. Akliv has used a lot of resources here, and Ku is not giving him time. Does he draw the green? He gets the green just in time, but the yellows aren't there. His chain does not resolve fully, and in the end, he loses. Ku takes the victory.
Alright, the first match of round 1. Akliv versus Ku ends with a victory for Ku. Congratulations. Oh my god, that was such an intense first match. What did you think of it?
Yeah, so just even if you look at just the points, that was incredibly well played by both players. There was Ku's early lead with the 4-1, and then Akliv managed to crawl back despite the pressure. When your opponent is on match point, it can really feel like all hope is lost, but for Akliv, he fought well even afterwards. He didn't let that pressure get to him, so really well played. And good use of those small pokes to initiate from both players as well.
Alright, so when the players are ready, we're going to move on to match 2 of round 1, which is going to be Live versus Void. So as you mentioned, Void is from Brazil and Live is a Japanese player, right? What do you think of this matchup?
Yes, exactly right. Yeah, this is going to be pretty tense. It is again putting one of our international players on the line. Actually, at the moment, Void is overseas, and I think right now he might even be in a really weird time zone. He could be very sleepy at the moment. So I'm impressed that he got first place in his block even though he's feeling tired. But we'll see if he can still carry himself through even during a matchup that is as tough as this. Libe is a very established player.
Yeah, sometimes this kind of like international tournament can be tough depending on where you live. But I really hope Void can do well, and also good luck to Live as well. And when those two players are ready, we'll start the match 2 of round 1. This is also going to be first to 5. First to 5, I thought it was going to be, you know, it's 5 matches, right? But then at the same time, like the first match 1, if the players are very, very close at their skill, like they're like very, very good, right? Like both of them are very experienced players. It can go into 4-4. So like I'm enjoying so much of this. This is great.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very glad that Akliv brought back that score and didn't let it go 5-1 because it really just showed the power of these international players. Oh, here we go.
Right. Match 2 of round 1. This is Live versus Void.
Yes, indeed. Liwe on the left, Void on the right. I love both of their expressions.
I love their pictures
at the moment. It's so fantastic. All right, and just like their pictures, their chains are also absolutely fabulous. Void at the moment is initiating 2-3, very strong. Liwe did not see that correctly, or just didn't decide to commit the resources, but Void is landing a really good hit here. Libe is able to draw the piece, but that is really bad blocking. So even though he mitigated some of the garbage, one line is still horrid when you're that high up on the board. Really nice initiation from Void there. Fantastically timed. Let's see if he can carry that through some more. Void is a bit of a specialist in being able to land really critical hits, a bit more of an aggressive player than some of the other international players, but a lot of the time, hits are very calculated. Some players will be aggressive just by throwing things blindly, but Void is great at observing and making sure his hits will actually land. This time around though, Liu had a really good defense, and now Void is on the back foot, trying to dig down, but Liu has had all this time to send way more as a defense. 4-5-5, it feels almost excessive, honestly. Void gets just the 2-double in response, it's just not going to be nearly enough. It's tough when you're higher up on the board because even though you can draw your own pieces faster, your resources are buried, and so Ribe has the benefit of just being able to use the resources that were already there. Okay, both players once again starting off with their classic GTR. At the moment, it looks like Ribe has a bit of advantage on second floor, might be the first to strike. Void with just the one chain, doesn't face Ribe too much here, but goes for a strong one into the 3-chain. That 1-chain itself sent almost 3 times of garbage, so lots to be scared about. Void went straight into main chain, but the question is, will Ribe be able to actually take this board state and turn it into a chain that's large enough? Very efficient, nice 11-chain. Another really nice thing about Void's playstyle is that even though he is aggressive, he still keeps his chains very consistently long. And it looks like that one garbage in columns 5, it completely threw off Libe's chain tail. Really nice from Void, planting that garbage in the first place. And in doing so, he takes another point, keeping that lead alive. Really good for him, because playing against these top Japanese players, knowing how established they are, it can be a lot of pressure. So any lead that you can get counts a lot. Nice 1-chain. Libe is in a bit of a tight spot, but manages to draw the yellows to set off his defense. Has a 4-chain in response, really strong. This time around, Void is just going to have to take that garbage because he does not have a response available. The 7-chain from Libe, and Void has to take all of the garbage. There is no way down from that position. Alright, tying it back up, Libe is making sure that lead doesn't get extended. And at this stage it becomes a bit tricky because, again, Void's attacks usually land, but against an opponent as formidable as Libe, it might be important to try and withhold some resources just in case Libe sends something crazy. And when I say something crazy, I mean it. What a nice 2-double there. Void did not have enough time to respond. He had something ready, but did not have the right colors at all, and Libe probably spotted that in order to time his attack. Alright, Libe is now taking the lead. Just 2 more points to go in order to advance. A little bit awkward for Void at the moment. His transition area is just full of different colors. You can see red, yellow, blue, and green at the moment. Whereas Libe here has just made a fantastic multiple stack on top of the transition. A very easy 4-chain response for him to choose. At this rate, he's just setting off main, and it is a beautiful tail. Resolves in an 8-chain all clear. And with that, Void just has no way down. Really rough. Super clean play from Libe, and just, again, quite unfortunate that Void couldn't get anything in this transition to work. The colors just didn't seem to work well for him. Now we have Libe at match point. Let's see what he can do. Will Void be able to bring it back? He's going for a super aggressive play akin to DR Dan's style. Libe once again shocked and not able to do anything. What a fantastic mix-up. Alright, Void taking another point using a very volatile style, but when your opponent's on match point, sometimes it's easy for them to get comfortable and try and do what usually works. And so what can you do? You throw them off their rhythm, and that's how you claw your way back. 2 more points for Void to take this set. Let's see if he can manage. Alright, Both players are a lot more confident this time around. Void does not look behind the resources, but Live looks like he might be able to cut some resources at the moment. Goes for a simple 2-chain. Void is locked into having to main chain. Uses a bit of time to hesitate, but that is so much time for Live to extend. If Live doesn't make any mistakes here, it's pretty deadly. Oh goodness, what are the extensions that he's going for at the moment? Oh, he cuts the green! It seems like he was going for just a little too much. It was only 49k from Void. I think Live would have had enough with what he had on the board. I don't know, but that's pretty good for Void. 4-4. Once again, we have another tiebreaker set. These players are not making it easy for each other to advance. And it makes sense too, with how many points are on the line. 100 for the top placing player. It's nothing to scoff at. Alright, Live with the 1-chain initiation. Void does have a 2-double and decides to fire it, but Live has a really good response already set up. But Void decides to go into main chain, maybe trying to lock Live out of options. Live needs to draw a green and a yellow and gets a green-yellow and gets his tail extended. Oh golly gosh, he's had so much time. This is going to be 6 triple into the 7, and with that, he overwhelms Void's main chain.
A job well
And with
done.
that, Live is the winner 5-4 against Void.
Alright, so that was round 2 of match 1. Oh my god! And that was Live versus Void, and then the winner goes to Live. Congratulations! Once again, it was such a close match. Another tiebreaker set. What did you think about this match?
Both players, again, really giving it their all there. I really loved seeing the difference in strategies, even between each round. In some cases, Void tried to go for a clean build, but I think he was actually most successful when he was just trying to throw Live off with a super long attack. Because, you know, you let these pro players set up their chains, and they always have a 4 or a 5-chain attack, which is far too much to try and catch up to. But when you make your chain just a huge 2-chain, that resolves so quickly that they have no time to react. They'll send what they have back, and it's only like a 2 or 3 chain in response. So really good adaptation to try and take that set off. Really close. Unfortunate that he couldn't get it in the end.
Alright, as you said, the top player, the champion of this tournament, will receive 100 points. So that is a lot of points, and everyone is fighting their best for it. And Live and Void, this time, the victory went to Live, and he will advance to the next stage. And as you said, I mean, Live is such an experienced player, and also Void as well, right? I just felt like the match was just filled with their experience and like all their skills put into together, and it was such a close match. It was amazing to see all these. And we'll have the match 1 of round 2 when the players are ready. So, from now on, it's gonna be the round 2, and we're gonna be looking into Yuki versus Kaori first, I believe. And for the round 2 of match 2, we're gonna be looking into Villain R versus Puni. So for the round 2 match 1, so it's gonna be Yuki versus Kaori. What do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, so Yuki, as I said earlier as well, and as everyone probably knows by now, I think everybody hears this name and goes, oh, I know exactly who that is. That is the very young player who has been winning just all of the tournaments recently. And so we'll see if he manages to pull it off once again here. The fact that he's made it this far is quite a testament to his ability, but of course Kaori has also made it to this point, and although I don't know so much about this particular player, I know that Kaori has put up a good fight against some of the top players from Japan as well, and so, you know, maybe there's a chance that someone can strike Yuki down this time around.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, all right, so the match is starting. This is gonna be Yuki versus Kaori.
Let's see what we can do here. Yuki was just going completely insane in the group stage. Again, he swept his bracket and had a points difference of, I believe, 25. That is just massive. He was going no mercy against his opponents, did not let tiebreaker happen. But you can see Kaori's build style here is also really clean and efficient. Right, so at the moment, he's just focusing on main chain and goes for a nice 3-chain attack by dismantling a bit. Does not have his key clear in place. but that's so much time to expand. Yuki was forced to main chain, and at this rate, as long as Kyoto gets the yellows, doesn't get any, but gets the blue at least. That's okay. Doesn't get the extension, but has a very solid, efficient chain. Yuki's chain only coming out to 40,000. Kyoto has a lot to respond with, but Yuki is also fantastic at building second chains. Nice 12 from Kyoto, that is a 64k. The question is whether Yuki can counter? Looks like Kyoto's wheel was hanging for a while. I'm not sure what happened there, but Yuki just such a master at second chaining because despite the score difference that existed before, he was able to close it out just so easily. Or he makes it look easy, right? Building a second chain is really tough because you have to work with all the resources that are left over. But he uses every single one of them so efficiently, just like you would with your fast chain. It's so impressive how well he can build chains from scratch. But, well, that was just our first point. Once again, Kyoto and Yuki taking a kind of slow approach with their chains, building up max chain length a little. Yuki with a nice one-chain poke. Kyoto is now dismantling huge 2 into the 3. Yuki now using his multiple stack area, not going into main chain, instead attacking with a 5-chain in response. Kyoto is forced to main chain, and now the question is whether Yuki can out-extend. Needs to draw 2 more blues. Will they come in time? Waiting for a blue, and gets it. But Kyoto once again showing just how efficient of a player they are. Nice 12, 63k. Depends on if Yuki's tail is going to be enough. Even I can't read this. I have no idea what's going on here. Okay, well, we've got an 11 double into the 12. Kyoto does have a second chain here. The question is whether or not this is going to be enough. 86k from Yuki is so much. That is equivalent to a 14 chain. And Kyoto is just not able to make up the difference this time.
See you next time.
In both of these games, Yuki's score has ended up over 80k, which is just insanity. The amount of damage output he is able to get from his Puyo use is just incredible. There's just so little waste left over on his board. And Kyoto chains have been super efficient too. Most of the time, Kyoto ends up with very few Puyos left over on the board. It's just a matter of sending the chain at the right time. If he sends too early, then, well, it's just going to get overwhelmed in the end. Wow, Yuki is just firing so many resources off at the moment. This 5 double is pretty much a decisive move. Kyoto could have set off main chain if, you know, the pieces had come in time, but even then, Yuki might have just out-extended. Just so much confidence going into his resource spends. Yuki is just smashing out whatever he likes, whatever he needs to do, and does not care, because he knows he can replenish the resources the moment they're lost. So, I'm not sure if Kyoto is going to change up the playstyle a little bit, or if it's just going to continue doing what it's doing. It seems for the time being he is. Yuki once again with a small attack. Kyoto with a nice 3 double in response, but Yuki once again masterfully working with that second floor. Nice 4-chain response, and Kyoto gets a little stuck in the situation, takes a bit of garbage, goes for a nice 2 double, good response, but his chain's in a bit of a weird state now. Yuki probably looking up to follow up with an attack, gets a nice 2 double off. Kyoto is able to get a 5-chain, if not full, really nice. Yuki with a quick defense, but if Kyoto draws the green now, that is going to be a really nice response with full chain there. Very well played by Kyoto, digging down and making sure that it didn't link to main chain too early, otherwise it would have been free time for Yuki to extend, but by keeping that pressure on with those smaller chain lengths with a lot of power, like that 4-chain, Yuki was forced to respond with a lot of resources once again, but didn't have time to replenish them. Kyoto was the one leading the pace of that game after all. Alright, a really clean multiple stack from Yuki. He has a 4-chain available just right now, but Kyoto's keeping up, has a 5-chain available. Yuki's extending, and Kyoto is also now making sure Yuki's defense is prepped. A nice 1 double from Kyoto, a little awkward from Yuki, who only sent a standard 1-chain. And it looks to be potentially main chain from Yuki in response to Kyoto's resource spend. Okay, it's very efficient, but this is a chance for Kyoto to potentially out-extend Yuki. Needs a green, and there's just none in queue. Bad luck. 95k from Yuki still though. Even though he had to set up his main chain first, he still managed a chain that was almost equivalent to 15. He's just far too efficient. Alright, and now we have Yuki up 4-1, but the question is whether or not Hiro will be able to give us another 4-4 match this time around. Let's see. Alright, an actually early attack from Hiro this time around. Was wondering if this would come around at all. Oh, and there was no leftover garbage. A perfect cancel. Yuki in a bit of an awkward position now. This is going to be a bit hard to dig. I think Hiro is going to take advantage from here. Oh, a nice 2 triple from Hiro. Super strong and forcing Yuki to main chain. This is Hiro's chance to take another round if he can out-extend. Question is, does he see the fact that Yuki's chain ends early? He does and draws the piece in time. Alright, this is a fantastic play. Hiro is able to get a 7 chain, 7 double, okay. But, as we've mentioned, Yuki is really good at getting a strong second chain off. Is this going to be enough? It goes into the blues and the yellows. It is a 7 double. It's enough to send back incredibly. Even though Yuki was disadvantaged, he was able to use the trash on his board to get an advantage at the end. That's crazy.
Alright, so that was match 1 of round 2. Yuki versus Kira, and the victory goes to Yuki. Congratulations. Wow, that was an insane game. It looked like Kira was doing well. He was trying to adjust to Yuki's style a little bit in the middle of the game. But until the end, it seems like Yuki was dominating this set.
Yeah. He has such a stronghold on the way that he plays the game. He always has resources available, and it just feels like anything you send at him, he is going to be able to respond with even more than you do. There's just no chance of keeping up.
It's just amazing. He's such a young player, and he's like 10, 11 years old. And I believe Kiora is also a very young generation player as well. And I was just thinking, like, what was I doing when I was 11, you know?
Definitely not playing Puyo at this level. That's incredible.
At this level, not for sure. Oh, wow. What an incredible game we got to see. All right, so next up, it's going to be round 2 of match 2. Oh, sorry, match 2 of round 2. And it's going to be Villain R versus Puni-chan Puyo. So that's going to be a Korean player. Villain is a Korean player, and then Puni-chan Puyo is a Japanese player. What do you think about this matchup, Yoshi?
So this is very exciting to hear that Villain actually made it into this next round. That's really impressive representation from the international players, and it lines up with what he was doing last year. He was also one of the players who would break through even the JP players he fought, so props to him. But of course, Puni-chan is really strong. I believe he swept his block in this tournament, so there's already evidence that he's playing really well. Let's see how he goes against Villain.
The match is starting.
Alright. And yeah, wow, okay, Puni-chan is actually starting with transition on the right, so he's going tail first build. Really interesting, but really efficient as well. There is just no efficiency loss from him at the moment. He has a lot of options available with his second floor, but it looks like Villain's focusing on just main chain, which might be scaring him from spending resources. I say that, but he comes off with a really nice 2-chain, but Villain built to tank that. So now he's sending back. Puni-chan is forced to spend a lot of resources. In fact, he goes into main chain. Ooh, Villain responded with quite a lot of resources. That is going to be hard to recover now. Okay, 11 double into 12. An 83k chain. Almost equivalent to a 14. That is massive. So efficient. We're seeing a lot of these top JP players playing really efficient games. They're always coming out with damage outputs around the 80k range or more, and that really speaks to the fact that they just know how to utilize every single Puyo on their board. And so if you want to be able to take advantage, you've got to be very careful about where you spend. Okay, really nice 2 double from Puni-chan, but a nice piece draw and a good setup from Villain, allowing him to respond with a 4-chain. But Puni-chan has even more to respond with. Goes into a 3 double and Villain is forced to main chain. The question is, how is Puni-chan going to make his chain work? Because he has a lot of flat stacks, but not a lot of options. In fact though, it looks like he's going to be able to use his counter build, and the counter made a difference. It mitigated so much garbage there. He only ended up with almost 2 lines of garbage instead of rocking that much. Alright, nice follow-up from Villain. Is Puni-chan going to be able to make this chain work? It's a little hard to decipher, but incredibly, he makes a chain route appear out of thin air. 7 chain, and able to mitigate most of the garbage once again. It's not quite enough this time. Villain does have a fantastic follow-up and takes the round with it. But goodness, Puni-chan's consistency in being able to find chain lengths to match Villain is incredible. That is some resilience right there. Okay, once again, we have Puni-chan transitioning on the right side of his board, going with stuff that's a little less traditional, but it is working for him. It looks like he's using the left side to set up attacks, so it looks like he is going to go for a 4 if he sends that. Hesitating quite a lot though, because Villain has a much bigger response. If he sends the 4, Villain can probably send a 7 chain or so? It's too much. Okay, finally finds an opening, but it's only because Villain committed to his full chain. I guess he's trying to force Villain to set up main, but the question is whether he can out-extend, because at this rate, it looks like he's running out of time. He's looking for the yellow and green and gets it, but hesitating whether or not his chain length will be enough. I think there was a cut in there too, so it looks like he just didn't have a chance with his chain. Nice pressure that Villain put on, because even though Puni-chan had an attack for ages, Villain just had a bigger response available at all times, and so it warded Puni-chan off from using that attack at any stage. Because Puni-chan was so committed to that attack as well, there was no way to build around it. Alright, nice one-chain probe. Puni-chan is going to be able to respond as well here if he likes. Goes for a nice one-chain to clear out the garbage. Wondering whether he should commit to something, but scared that Villain will be able to respond too easily. Oh, that is very awkward. Did some of that garbage go off the top? Did it? Oh, it looks like he's not going to have space after roll. That was really nasty garbage. If Puni-chan had been able to get that yellow over to the right side, he would have been able to set off a nice response, but the garbage blocked him. Really nice one-chains from Villain to seal the deal. And now the Villain up in the lead. Against all odds, it seems that he is carrying the international players at the moment. Alright. Next up, we have a small one-chain probe potentially. Nice, Villain sends it off. Puni-chan is in a bit of an awkward spot, sends a basic 2-chain. Now, Villain was hesitating a lot because he wasn't sure about spending all these resources, but given that Puni-chan sent all of a 3, that's not going to be good for him. Villain now has a fair bit of time to respond, but he doesn't draw very good pieces to extend. In the end, he basically just has to set off what he had with his main chain already. But there's a lot of power actually. And it ends up being enough. Villain now on match point, not breaking a sweat at the moment. Yeah, he's really putting on a bit of invisible pressure, because realistically, Villain hasn't been sending much to Puni-chan. It's only been maybe one-chains, but otherwise he's just posed with, oh, hold on, could be a rush from Puni-chan. But once again, Villain just has his trigger available at all times. He is unfazed. Okay, potentially a 2-chain coming from one of the sides. Villain goes for it first. Puni-chan with a really nice 5-chain response. Villain is not going to be able to draw his pieces here, I don't think. Okay, wait, no, hold on. He reverses into the back of his chain to respond. A very big spend, but in fact, is it enough? Whoa, okay, and even though Puni-chan now has no resources, Villain has the rest of his chain to use. Wow, by keeping his chain intact, he was able to keep up the resource advantage for that entire time. What incredible play from Villain.
Alright, so that was the match 2 of round 2. Villain R versus Puni-chan Puyo, and the victory goes to Villain R. Congratulations! Oh wow, that was another incredible, amazing match. What did you think of it?
Yeah, again, round two, interestingly, the matches have gone even more, have showed even more of a gap between some of the players, which is very strange to see, but, we're really getting to see who the top of the competition is at the moment. We had Yuki come through, and now Villain is just showing that he's also pretty dominant. I think he took a bit of a break at the end of last season, so we didn't see as much of him, but it seems like he's been training back up, and now he's ready to show the world that he can be one of the top international players as well.
Right, and it seems like he's the only one from international. I mean, like outside of Japan, he's the only player that's still remaining in this tournament at this point.
Is that so? Yeah, well, I did see that Rick was around, but we didn't
Oh,
get to see his match.
We didn't
I'm
get
not
to
sure.
see Rick yet, so we might still have Rick.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll find that out later on when we actually move on to the semifinals. And we're going to take a short break right here. But before we go, let's introduce the user community Discord server once again. The server features a variety of content, including tournament announcements, a Q&A segment for newcomers, and friendly community matchups. And whether this stream sparks your interest in Puyo Puyo or you're already a Puyo Puyo player, this server is welcome to every single one of you. And you can join by this QR code on the screen or through the link in the YouTube description. If you have enjoyed the Discord server, please feel free to hop in. The community is waiting for you. So if you're watching this tournament, on your cell phone, you can always take the screenshot, or you can just use your cell phone to take the QR code with your cell phone. And if you haven't joined it, the community is welcoming all of you. So feel free to join. All right, so now we're gonna step away for a quick interval, and we plan to resume in about 10 minutes. And we're gonna have semifinals coming up, so please stay tuned. Hi everyone, we're back and thank you all for waiting. From here on, we'll be bringing you the semi-final matches of this tournament. And starting from the semi-finals, matches will be played as first to 10, not first to 5. From here on, it's gonna be FT10. And first, let's take a look at the tournament's results so far. Alright, so it looks like Tom and Yuki will be playing for the match 1 of semi-final. And also for the match 2 of semi-final, it will be Live It versus Villanor. Alright, so it looks like Villanor is gonna be the last international player remaining in this tournament.
Yep, in the end, I actually had a look, and Rick was the one who was defeated by Kyoto to get there. So, yes, Villain is our last international player. Very exciting to see him in the semi-finals for such a massive tournament. Of course, we have Ribe, a classic player as well. And then at the top, this is really interesting. Tom, one of the older legendary players, whereas Yuki is of the new generation. So, quite a clash.
Right. Tom has been in this scene for such a long time, right?
Yes,
probably
decades.
Over
he
like
has played
15 or 20 years, probably, or
yeah,
maybe
over
more.
20, I think.
Yeah.
Could be 30 if we count his years when he was playing, you know, really young and not so competitive yet. So he's been around for a long, long time.
Right, and he has been contributing to the community by also doing all the commentary and stuff. So he's such a legend. All right, so we'll look forward to this match 1 of semi-final. Tom, the legend of Puyo Puyo, and Yuki, the new rising star of Puyo Puyo scene. All right, so what do you think about this matchup? About their like play style and stuff like that?
Yeah, so again, Tom uses a lot of very old methods, very traditional
Right, like a
styles.
yayoi.
Exactly, yeah. That's one of those old forms that he used back when he was playing on arcade Puyo, because that used to be where the Japanese players would play competitively. Nowadays, we are able to play from home, and so more people can play, which is really nice. But, you know, it is these old methods versus Yuki is a lot more inventive. He's been using a lot of his own forms recently, and so it'll be really interesting to see what he can actually bring and whether that is going to break through those old strategies of Tom, or if Tom will show that even traditional methods will still work.
Cannot wait to see that. So it's gonna be the first to 10 match, and it's gonna be the first semi-final matches, and then there's gonna be another match following up semi-final match 2. It's gonna be Live versus Villain R. This is also gonna be first to 10, and also the grand final will be taking place as first to 10 format. Whew, cannot wait. But these... Alright, it looks like semi-final match 1 is started. Tom versus Yuki.
Yes, we have Tom on the left and Yuki on the right. Really interestingly, Tom is going for right side GTR, which is not usual, but, you know, maybe he's trying something different to throw Yuki off, although it's hard to throw him off because Yuki just feels like he has a grip on everything. Yuki is going for a more traditional build style. Tom going for his signature massive 2-chain, but Yuki is responding with a 5-chain. That is huge, but Tom is pulling out all of the extensions for this defense. Really nice 6-chain at the moment. Yuki is forced to main chain, and now Tom has a bunch of time to extend. But Yuki actually powers up his chain, which makes it resolve a lot faster. The question is whether or not this is going to be enough. Tom hesitates a little bit, which is quite an issue, because if you let Yuki have time, he will build a second chain to overwhelm you. In the end, Tom's chain actually wasn't even enough, and Yuki's follow-up is just decisive.
Alright, the first win goes to Yuki.
Yeah, we had Tom pulling out his very classic massive two-chain method, but Yuki responded with a really big response, and even though it feels like Tom's follow-up afterwards should have been enough, Yuki was just so fast with his chain that Tom didn't have the time to out-extend in the end. So that's a bit of that new generation source there, where these players are deciding, hey, we don't want to just maximize our chain length, we want to maximize how fast they resolve. And so by powering their chains, that gives their opponent less time to out-extend. Really nice simple cover from Tom at the moment, following up and taking this point, 1-all.
Another
But of course
win
it is a
goes
first
to
attempt.
Tom. So now it's 1-1.
Alright, and Tom is once again going from that right side transition build. Not sure what could possibly be inspiring him to do that, but well, let's see if it reflects in his playstyle at all. Both players looking to make a very large attack. They're focusing a lot on their second floor rather than their transition. Very interesting. Yuki with a bit of a hard to read attack, it is a 4-chain, but Tom does have a 4-chain of his own. Defends pretty well, takes a bit of garbage. Yuki has an immediate follow-up, and Tom does defend, but he's gonna take another line. Now things are very awkward for him. He's using the back of his chain to trigger instead of the front. It is going to be enough. Nice 4-chain into 5. Yuki himself does have a 5-chain though. It is just continuous back and forth, dismantling builds in order to get as much damage output as they can. Tom now on the back foot, but is not impossible. Does he draw a red for the situation? Decides to go for the big 1-chain. A little bit awkward for Yuki, but definitely not the worst. 2-chain blocked by a little bit. It's a bit awkward for Yuki now. Okay, really nice follow-ups, and it looks like Yuki drew the pieces he needed though in order to defend. He's got a big defense ready, and Tom is losing time, doesn't manage to get the defense done in time. Very interesting, both players dismantling their chains so much. And are we seeing it? Okay, yep, no, Tom is just directly going into the all clear. Yep, really nasty, because now once he pulls this 1-chain, it is over for Yuki.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow. Alright, that
What an
goes to
interesting
2-2.
The match is now even, and at this rate, it could go either way. Very weird colors here. The fourth color took ages to come out, so both players' builds are looking a little bit weird compared to usual. Yuki's using a bit of that new Kumaton build that snakes around at the end. But Tom, being very efficient, does have a good response. Is also going to be a 7-chain. It sends back, but Yuki, excellent response here, building very vertical. He only used 3 columns, which really maximized the chaining speed. Tom with a nice 3-chain. Okay, it's enough to mitigate, but he has a lot less resources than Yuki at the moment. It's going to be difficult for him to follow up and actually win. And even just space-wise at the moment, Tom just doesn't have the space. Even if he maximizes the efficiency for this chain, which he's doing an excellent job at. Wowee, 7 double into 8. Really nice chain. But again, Yuki had the space, right? He was able to make a
12-chain coming from Yuki.
That's so much. And so realistically, even though both players were able to send pretty much that entire board worth of their chain, Tom's limited space was what caught him out. In the end, he was not able to recover from this disadvantage. Yuki looking for maybe a very powerful 2-chain, decides to fire it. 2 triple. Alright, Tom is able to respond at the moment though. He has a massive 4 triple into 5! That is going to massively overwhelm what Yuki has, but the question is whether he can get that full chain to beat it. Alright, Yuki actually only has an 8-chain because his tail didn't work, and I don't know if Tom didn't spot that, but hey, we take those for Yuki. That is completely fine. Alright, very interesting builds from Tom. He's starting from the middle of his board, whereas most players start on the sides. Is this... I think we're seeing a yo-yo from him at the bottom. Incredible. Alright, nice poke and defense, but Tom doesn't have quite enough. Yuki, spying that Tom doesn't have a lot of access to main chain, is probably just looking to attack him until he gets uncomfortable and gets into a disadvantage state, just like last time. It is a nice 6-chain from Tom, but as I mentioned, Tom just didn't have a good chain ready.
1, 2, 3.
Tom does set off main. Oh! It almost tails. The green and the blue, so close. But it's not going to be enough this time.
Alright, that goes to 5 for Yuki and 2 for Tom.
Yes, Yuki is now halfway to victory for this match, and then he'll be heading into grand finals if he wins it. I'm sure Tom definitely doesn't want to lose at this rate. Okay. Very strange builds from both players. Looks like they're both going for very aggressive stances once again. And it does hit this time. Yuki was expecting to draw his next piece in time to respond, but didn't get it. It's really interesting seeing these players playing such a differently paced match from some of our earlier players. A lot of our earlier players were very focused on making sure their main chain would work before they would send anything. It feels like Tom and Yuki are very, very happy to just send a big attack even halfway through their second floor. Like right now, Tom is very ready to just send a massive attack, but Yuki does have a 5-chain available, and so Tom's holding off on that for now. Yuki pretty much connected to main chain instead, because at this point he's happy with his chain length. Oh, he still has pokes at the top actually. Incredible use of the top of his board. Completely neutralizing. Both players are just fidgeting around for the time being. Yuki now in a very bad spot. He is forced to main chain. I think he was looking to make extensions, but now they're a little less comfortable than he would have liked. Tom going for an extension, but the reds are conflicting in column 4. I don't know if he has a way to fix it.
Make it.
Oh, he wasn't able to get it.
Alright, that gives another win to Yuki. 3-6 now.
Yeah, Yuki's really taking the lead at the moment, trailing away with it. From the looks of things at the moment, Tom is going to need to continue to land those quick, fast hits like the one right now. Yep, there he goes. Following up immediately, not giving Yuki any chance to breathe.
Quick win for Tom. 4-6.
Yes, at the moment it seems like this is what he is most successful with, landing those really good quick 2-chains, not necessarily the super powered ones, just the well-timed ones. So if he's able to focus in on doing just that, he might be able to take advantage again. It looks like he is getting ready for just that right now, but Yuki once again, it always feels like he has a 5-chain available on his second floor at all times. Alright, and he decides to fire it. But Tom has a massive defense. Will Yuki just go for main chain at this point? He does decide to after a little bit of extending. Tom is now on the clock. Can he manage to get his extensions out in time?
Wait, what?
Not this time.
Alright, so that gives 4-7 now.
Yep. The gap between these two players is the same gap between Yuki and winning this match. 3 points. Tom putting very strange and vertical. I'm assuming he's looking for an early attack opportunity because, as I mentioned, if he can get these early attacks off when Yuki is not comfortable yet, it could be really good for him. Yuki spent a lot of time sending that 3-chain. Tom got a lot of resources on the board, but not too uncomfortable for either player just yet. Tom really looking for the right color to make this big attack work, but in the end, I think it might just be main chain. Yeah, that's quite discomforting. But Yuki also weirdly committed to quite a lot of an attack this time around. Usually he builds a little more flexibly. Wait, did
He's starting his chain.
Did he? You know what? I think this is just something you have to watch and see what happens, because I can't tell. Is this going to be enough?
Is it gonna be enough? He was enough. Alright, now Tom is in a place that he has to make all the chains.
Okay, this is an incredible though.
9, and oh my god, all clear!
That's so good! Wow. Jeez, Tom. Really putting that experience in chain mastery to use. What an incredible chain. But Yuki, you're not slacking.
2, 3, sapphire.
Right.
Alright.
And with that, it's Tom's game.
Oh
Jeez.
my god, what a game! What an incredible
Crazy back
game!
and forth. Yep.
Alright,
This player's just so skilled.
wow. Okay, now we have 5-7.
Yep, Tom is calling it back at the moment. Very unusual round. Let's see if Tom is starting with early aggression again. Yes, but Yuki is looking to go for a 2-triple in response. Here he goes. Wants to power up even more because he sees that Tom had a 4-chain. And it was a perfect judgment. Seeing that Tom had that 4-chain, he was like, oh, if I just stack more power onto this chain, it's going to be enough. That is an expert at play, you know, just knowing exactly how much this chain output is going to do to overwhelm the opponent. So well played.
Right, 5-8. Yuki is almost getting to 10. 2 more rounds.
Yep. Some masterful chain judgment from him at the moment. Tom's got to be sure that he doesn't lock himself into any options, because if Yuki observes it, well, he'll just have a response ready to go. Okay, Tom now deciding to go for a more standard main chain approach to match Yuki, so taking his time, not looking to attack. Are both players just maxing out main chain length? Nice 2-chain response.
2, 1.
For the time being, it's small pokes back and forth, but Yuki's chain is a little hard to read. Is that full, or is it oh, it actually goes into main chain! Alright. Wow, those links were just completely unreadable. Tough spot for Tom. Will he extend enough? He needs a purple. Gets it!
There it is.
2,
14 chain though is so much from Yuki.
5, 6,
Is Tom's chains gonna be enough?
8.
He has a massive power at the back, but
Not quite enough. Oh.
Wait, what?
Alright, that gives 5-9. Now Yuki has a match point.
he's really showing that dominance at the moment. If he just wins this match, well, he's in a pretty good position to just win the tournament, so we'll have to see if Tom can throw out something a little different, or whether or not he's gonna leave. No, Yuki's going for the most treacherous play ever. What is he doing? Stop that! Stop! If he triggers from the right, he has a massive 2-chain, and he could just end the game right now with it if Tom is not ready. But Tom is ready this time. I don't know how Yuki recovers from this. I think he's messing around a bit. No, hold on! He's got a full chain anyway! He managed to convert it out. Okay, well...
Now 6, 7, 8 is coming from Yuki.
And Tom is setting up his chain, but he's missing a yellow!
Oh,
In the end, Yuki's crazy build, which feels like a taunt almost, was able to win that game.
Oh wow, okay, so that was the match 1 of semifinals, Tom versus Yuki, and the victory goes to Yuki. Congratulations. Wow, what an incredible game we actually got to see. I mean, even though this time the victory went to Yuki, we also got to see Tom's incredible play as well. So what did you think about this match?
Yeah, I think some of the highlights from that match were just when both players were back and forthing, because they were
Right.
really showing how their experience can lead to building chains out of nothing, continuously.
Right.
That is just such a high level of skill required to be able to do that.
Alright, so now we're gonna move on to match 2 of semifinal, which is gonna be Live versus Villain R. So, as we mentioned earlier, Villain R is gonna be the only player outside of Japan remaining in this tournament at this point. Alright, so Live is also a very experienced player in Japan. He has been around probably 15, 20 years, just as Tom,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Yeah, they have spent a lot of time playing with each other over the years, and so, seeing how strong Tom is, you can expect how strong Live would be as well.
Alright. And also Villain. Could you tell us a little bit about Villain?
Yeah, so he is a Korean player, and the thing is, the Korean and Japanese Puyo communities tend to be pretty close, and so a lot of players from Korea also play with a lot of the top Japanese players, and so I wonder if Villain perhaps has played with Libe during practice sets and stuff as well. So if that's the case, maybe they have a good feel for how to play against each other, and if that's the case, I wonder if that'll influence the match result as well.
Right. And how's Villain's place? Oh, looks like semi-final round 2, match 2 is started. This is Live versus Villain R. Also first to 10.
Yes, that's right. First to 10, so they have a lot of wiggle room to adapt to each other. The big question is, will Villain be able to keep up with such a formidable opponent? So far, he's made it to this point, so maybe it'll be completely fine. Looks like Live is going for a very main chain focused build at the moment to match what Villain has been doing this whole time. But a nice dismantle with the purples to get this 4-chain off. I think Villain's going to be forced to main chain. Indeed he is, and it is a very efficient main chain, as usually expected by Villain. The question is, will Live be able to recover the resources that he spent? He has a very awkward build at the moment, but it looks like it's going to cut unless he draws the right piece. No, he does get the chain off, but in the end, the cut persisted.
Alright, the first win goes to Villain.
That is a very massive point to have. Starting off on the right foot means that you don't end up with an early disadvantage. Very nice.
Well, looks
from
like they're
Villain.
having the same build at this moment. A little bit
so
different.
they're both playing very, very efficient. They just know exactly what they need to be doing to maximize their chain length. And so sometimes in high level play, you will just end up with players building the same thing for the first 10-ish pieces. Okay, really nice one chain from Villain, making Libe's chain really uncomfortable, and Villain with a fantastic follow-up to capitalize, making sure that Libe doesn't have an easy time getting down from here. Alright, it looks like Libe is just firing a ton of resources to make sure that Villain doesn't get to keep advantage. Villain almost had a response, but because of that timing, wasn't able to draw the piece to actually respond. Well played by Libe, putting that pressure on.
Alright,
As a player who ends up at disadvantage, sometimes it's a bit difficult to find a way to get out of that, and so by pulling off moves that are just, again, quick, sometimes it stops your opponent from doing anything.
Alright, 1, 2. 2-chain coming from Libe.
Yeah, really nice 2-chain, but maybe he didn't see the fact that Villain had a response, because this is a fantastic 6.
So Live's chain's gonna be enough? Yep.
It is going to be a 6, which is pretty good, but Villain had the rest of his chain to use afterwards. Fantastic resources left.
So that's 1 to 2 at this moment.
Yeah, Villain keeping that advantage up. Maybe there's a chance that he can make it to the grand finals after all. Really, really exciting for the international players. And also for him, because if he manages to win this tournament, he gets so many points.
Exactly.
It's going to put him really far ahead, and he's going to have a really good chance to go to Japan next year if he keeps this up. Right. A little awkward now. Villain has very little space. He has a nice 3-chain dig, but Libe has a fantastic 4-chain to follow up. Villain's not out just yet, still digging, but doesn't have a lot of resources to continue doing so.
Alright, Alright, so that gives 1 win to leave it 2-2 at this moment.
Yep, they are tied up now. Live not letting that lead slip away. We have a lot of yellows in queue at the moment. Might lend itself to a quick 1 chain or 2. Yep, okay. Live decides to use those yellows for the 2 chain. Now, Villain does have a pretty nice response. Dismantles it, so now he doesn't have too much, but he's going to be looking to dig out this garbage now. But in the meantime, Live has got a massive advantage and just decides to go into main chain. Recognizing that Villain needed to spend time in order to dig his chain, he decided to continue to put that time pressure on. A nice 9 chain. Villain having maximized his time. Let's see if he ends up having enough. And on the 10th link, manages to send back to Live. Live does have a nice second chain. Alright, 5. And Villain's almost enough. But Live's follow-up at this stage is going to be enough. Good back and forth from both players here.
Yep. And now Live has 3 wins at this moment.
Yes, in a first to 10, there's a bit more wiggle room here, so it's not as scary as it would have been in a first to 5. But still, you don't want.
Yeah, but it's just amazing to see both players just being able to going back and forth in such a short time.
Yeah, they're really keeping each other on their toes.
Right.
Okay.
1 chain from each.
Focus at the moment. Oh, Live getting blocked at a very critical point. He doesn't have space to get his chain off.
No.
Nice from Villain.
Wow, such a close game. 3-3.
Very precise moves from Villain there. That 1 chain was perfect, and that follow-up to seal the deal, exactly what he needed to win that round. Ooh, a little bit awkward. A very early 1 chain from Villain to try and mess with Live, but Live has a 4 chain response. Ugh. No luck for Villain there. Bit of a gamble that didn't pay off this time.
So this is a semi-final tournament, semi-final match. So it will be first to 10. And at this moment, Live has 4 wins and Villain has 3 wins. And it looks like they're just, very, very close at all the matches.
For the time being, it looks like they're keeping a slow, maybe a 1 chain soon. Okay, a 1 chain, but Villain has a 2. Live has a 2 double. Villain has a 2 double into the 3. Very precise defenses. A nice 3 chain response from Live, but it looks like Villain has another follow-up almost ready. Decides to fire right now. Live needs to draw another green, gets it in time, and as a result, has a 4 chain response. That's a lot. Villain needs a yellow.
Yeah, yellow.
It was 1 piece away.
Alright, 5-3 now.
Yeah, Live at the halfway mark. Okay, a little bit awkward for both players given that there's no purples at the moment. But really nice clean build from Villain. Live only has main chain available at the time, so it's a little awkward. Looks like he might dismantle for a 2 chain in response to Villain's 2 chain. But the garbage ends up falling in column 3!
Fast win,
Ouch.
okay. 5-4.
Yeah, nice timing. Put Live out at a point where he was looking to convert his main chain only build into a smaller poke, but during that conversion process, that is exactly when Villain struck. Alright, small 1 chain, doesn't do too much damage at the moment. Villain's pretty unfazed and just continues to build around it. It's looking like Live has a really nice big defense here.
4 chain.
Now, it is just enough to keep the garbage from being lethal, but at this point, Libe has a lot more access to resources, which makes it a lot easier to follow up.
He might just finish this out.
And he does go for the finishing move in the end. Villain is not able to respond.
Alright, so that's 6-4. 4 more wins for Live to go to the grand finals. But we still don't know.
Villain is keeping up pretty well. It is only a 2-point gap, which is not too bad at this point.
Alright.
Nice and steady with his builds, nothing crazy happening. Live has the option to go for a 4-chain at the moment, or 5. Nope, he's connected to main chain. At this point, if Villain, his choosing the perfect time to start poking, because Live was so focused on his main chain that he didn't have anything to respond.
Nice strategy from Villain. 6-5.
Great observation, making sure that he struck at just the right time, because otherwise Live's chain would have been very comfortable to continue extending. That's why you just have to make it difficult for your opponent, instead of letting them get away with it.
Alright, looks like the build is just nothing crazy, but... Alright, 1 chain from Live.
Okay, looks like a 1 in response, but big follow-up from Live. 4-chain from Villain is going to be quite a lot. The question is whether Live is going to have enough. Gets a 3-chain off, and it is just enough. Villain defends himself, and Live is the one taking garbage this time around. Alright, nice 2 from Villain. But we get a 3 in response from Live. Oh, full chain from Villain, a little hasty. To be fair, it was difficult for Live to finish his chain, but he drew kind of the perfect pieces for it.
Yep.
But wait, is this enough? It's 1 garbage.
Just
left
one
over.
the garbage.
Oh, goodness. Well, nice follow-up from Villain to make sure it was more than 1 garbage that ended up falling. Live now is going for a big attack, but if Villain... Yep. He triggers and ends up building way bigger of a chain.
Right. His Live is gonna... Oh, okay. He did not make it this time. Alright, 6-6.
Oh. Keeping up really well at the moment. Not being scared away by what Live has. Villain is continuing to strike at perfect times to continue to build advantage. Very nice work from him. Ooh, another nicely timed 1 chain. Alright, Live may be going for a small attack to follow up, just to put the pressure on Villain. Pressure has been applied, and a nice follow-up to make sure that Villain has even less access to resources. Yes, now Live is a lot more comfortable. Villain is going to want to dig, but Live is not making that easy at all. Interesting 3-chain from Live. Breaks his chain a little bit, but is it going to be sealing Villain out? Not quite. Oh, Villain didn't go for main chain there. Okay, very risky play.
Very tough position, but still managed.
Is he gonna be able to get out?
Is he gonna... Red. There we go.
Okay, sets up the green, is
Still
able
surviving.
to get a defense off.
But at the same time, Live had a time to build his chain back.
Yeah, a lot here. There's going to be a big 7-chain, and Villain didn't manage full chain after all. What a tough spot.
Right, so that's 7-6.
Alright, Live not allowing Villain to take advantage here after all.
Alright, another same build. There we go.
Keeping quite similar at the moment. It looks like Live might go for an attack over on the right side, because Villain's build is pretty fixed at the moment. There's not much he's able to do to defend. Massive 2-chain. Villain does manage to make a nice 3-chain response, but it is far from enough.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, now Villain is in a very tough spot to try and get out. Can't get that.
Job well done.
Really cool preemptive move from Live there, setting up his right 2 columns to set up that 2-chain really early, and the moment he saw that Villain was not ready for it, he went and fired it.
Alright, he's very close to 10 at this moment. He has 8 wins ready.
He is rapidly approaching that goal line. Oh, Villain Chain is in a bit of an awkward spot now. He is kind of forced to set up this 3 chain, which is really bad because Live had a 4 available from that moment. Big disadvantage from Villain now. He's able to respond to the garbage, but now he has a lot less resources. Live looking to follow up soon. Nice 2 chain. Villain almost drew the piece to be ready for it, but wasn't quite there. At this stage, he just needs to get down.
There we go. Might not be
Chain from
enough.
Live.
Is they gonna have time to build all the chain?
Okay, he does get
Okay,
it out.
okay. Oh,
It's
chain,
looking pretty
fine.
good. But
It's good.
there's no yellow in place in column 2 to finish the rest of the chain.
Oh no. Okay, so that gives 9-6. And match point for Live.
Match point. It's a lot of pressure. Villain now has to get 4 games in a row
Right.
in order to make it to the grand finals.
Exactly.
Let's see if he's able to manage. Okay, Live once again with some very preemptive building. He has a nice 2 chain available right now, sets it off. Villain goes for main chain because perhaps he spotted it. But I think this is too much time for Live. He might be able to outextend. Will he draw the blue to set up his chain? Will he? Will he? No blues, no blues, and makes it just in time.
2, 3.
Ooh, incredibly scary. But during that time, Live was able to power up his chain at the back as well. Gets a nice 8th link off of it. And in the end, Villain does not have enough, even though he had the perfect piece.
Well done.
Alright, so this round, match 2 of semifinal, the victory goes to Live. Congratulations! And now Live is moving up to grand finals, which is going to be against Yuki. That's also going to be very, very interesting. Another very experienced player versus a new rising star. Alright,
Yeah,
so what did you
that's
think
right.
about
I'm really
this
excited.
semifinal match 2?
Yeah, really good showing from both players, and I think we're really getting to see why Villain got to the point that he did. His decision-making during this tournament has just been fantastic. He's identified the opponent's weakness and capitalized on it constantly, but
Right.
I think this time around, his opponent was able to do that on him better. So Live identified Villain's weak points and just continuously bashed on them until Villain couldn't take it anymore.
Alright, so that was amazing semifinals we got to see. Match 1 and match 2 are now finished. Now we're moving on to grand final. But before we actually move into grand final, we'd like to introduce about the community Discord server. There we go. So the server features a variety of content, including a tournament announcements, a Q&A segment for newcomers, and friendly community matchups. And whether the stream sparks your interest in Puyo Puyo or you're already playing Puyo Puyo and you've been in this community for such a long time, but this server is where absolutely everyone is welcome. So if you haven't joined, this is open to everyone. Please come and join us. And you can join via the QR code or through the link in the description. You can take the screenshot of this screen, or you can just scan the QR code with your cell phone. If you haven't joined, please feel free to hop in. The community is waiting for you. All right, so I guess I'm guessing that the in this Discord server you get to play community matchups, right? So you get to see like new other players, Puyo players from your region or from other regions, and you get to have friendly matchups, which is exciting. Yeah.
It's a really nice way to connect the international community with each other. You know, we're bringing ourselves to compete for the Puyo Global Ranking Series, but of course, you know, in between events, we need to practice, and so having a space where people can get casual matches is fantastic.
Yeah, all right. So the grand finals, all 2 players, Yuki and Live, is now preparing for their grand final. What do you think about this matchup? Yuki versus
again,
Live.
just like before, it is very much a case of Yuki's new skills coming into a clash with that more traditional way of playing. But Live this whole time has still been able to win championships every now and then, so it's not like he's been slacking at all and you know, really refining his playstyle.
Exactly.
So I wonder if he's found a way to beat Yuki this time around.
Yuki has been dominating the scene for a while, right? Since he has joined the scene. Yeah, he
The
has
past few
been
months,
winning.
he's just been winning everything.
He has been winning so many tournaments throughout the year. And Live has been contributing to the community by doing all the commentary. I know he's also still doing really, really well as a professional player as well. So we cannot wait to see the grand final. So when they're ready, we're just going to start the match. And this is also going to be first to 10 as well. Oh my God, this is the final match. Are you excited for this?
Yeah, there are so many points on the line as well. Remember, the difference from second place to first place is 50 points and 100 points.
That's a huge difference.
This is massive, especially when you think about how participating only gives you 3 points. That's like 33 participations is equal to 1 win.
All right, grand final is now starting. Yuki versus Live.
Yes, we have Yuki on the left and Libe on the right. Very exciting to see these two clash in the grand finals of such a massive tournament. You know, the opening tournament for PGRS. It's really awesome to see. Okay, Yuki once again displaying that he has a massive chain available at any given time. It's kind of hard to find him at a weak point, but Libe is doing a really great job with these one-chain pokes. Again, if nothing else looks viable, just one chain. Your opponent doesn't have time to respond to that because it comes out so quickly.
Wow, destroyed for the first match. All right, first win goes to Live.
Nice work blocking those resources. Again, Yuki looks like he has an impenetrable chain, but with very precise moves, it is possible. Okay, Libe, seeing all those purples come up, decided to go for a quick one chain. Yuki now has a very difficult time getting to his main chain himself. Decides to poke. Libe now has a really good response, and the question is whether Yuki can even make a chain that'll work from this. Incredibly, he reverses his chain, starting it from the tail instead, and manages to get a 5-chain off. But Libe's not letting it go that easily. Yuki now sending back, and maybe in the lead with resources. But Libe has the advantage when it comes to how much space he has on the board, so if he maximizes his chain length, maybe it's fine. Yuki trying to catch Libe off guard, but Libe is more than ready. Nice power 4 to take another round.
0-2 at this moment.
Yeah, this is a really comforting position to be in to start. Libe up in advantage. But Yuki doesn't fold under any pressure, so for the time being, I'm sure this is a non-issue for him. He will take it as it goes and continue to play really cleanly. Libe potentially able to attack really early if he chooses, instead commits to main chain. I wonder if Yuki will do a small poke in response to that, or maybe he's just going to main chain in response too. It's looking like it.
Right.
Libe just main chaining now, yeah. Pretty happy to just send it. Wait, never mind, it's not full chain, and Yuki was able to spot that in time. Instead he has a massive response, a huge 6 double, and Libe doesn't have enough time.
Wow. Nice observation from Yuki.
These players throw resources around like it's absolutely nothing, but the incredible thing is that not only are they able to track their own resources, but they watch the opponent at the same time and make sure that
which is
the chains are
crazy.
working. Yeah.
Incredible.
Such high computation power from both players. Alright, Yuki has a very nice attack open. Libe now has a good response ready. Both are not looking to poke each other unless it's something smallish. Okay. Smallish comes out, and whoa! Yuki with that massive 3-chain! Very powerful. Libe with a nice 5-chain response.
Libe has enough? Yep.
Okay, the question is whether Yuki can... Oh, wait, hold on! Full chain from Libe. Yuki needs a red. Gets it in time. Is his main chain going to be enough now? Yes. It is going to be enough because Libe did not draw his piece in time to get his chain off. Very unfortunate for him, but good for you. He is definitely a lead to grow.
Alright, so now we're 2-2.
Right, 8 more points for each player at the moment.
Right, to win the championship.
Yep. Okay, slow and steady approaches at the moment. Both very main chain focused once again. Alright, Libe has a lot of options to one chain, decides to begin. Yuki's pretty unfazed, but I think if Libe continues to put the pressure on, Yuki's going to be in a really tough position. And here comes that pressure, nice through chain, and Yuki was able to respond. Okay. Really nice from Libe, again applying that pressure at just the perfect time.
And it's also amazing to see how those two players and everyone else as well are still focused for such a long time, because this tournament had the group stage before this. And they needed to compete for such a long time. They still have to for this grand finals.
Yeah, because in the group stage, I think they had maybe like 7 opponents or maybe 6 opponents.
Because it was a round-robin format.
Exactly, and then having to play that and then come into this
final tournament.
Well, it's like 10 games you're playing within a few hours. So
incredible.
Alright, Yuki looking to set off his main chain, or is it? Once again, he's actually just got a 6 chain and Libe is not ready.
Alright, 3-3.
What a prankster. Constantly looking like he's gonna set off main, but his chain just stops early. Alright, there was potential for some early aggression, but again, these players are a little more slow when it comes to early game. Not really ones to
More
attack
focus on
early.
building.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, first one chain comes out from Libe, really nicely timed as usual. Yuki now only has a 2 chain to respond, and Libe has some fantastic follow-ups. Oh, it's actually a 3 from Yuki, but not enough to keep himself alive, and there's no more space.
Alright, that goes to Live. 3-4.
Yes, that was really nice play once again. Timed that one chain, but not only that, had fantastic follow-ups right after. If Yuki had just been given maybe like 2 seconds more, he would have been able to get down really easily, but you have to be hammering on that aggression constantly. Oh, Yuki going for a really aggressive move right now. It is a 2 quadruple.
Wow!
So much power. But Libe saw it coming and prepared this 5 chain in response. But it breaks its chain a little bit. In response, Yuki's 6 chains, and in the end, let's see if Libe was able to repair his chain? In the end, it was
quite
a little
enough.
too difficult. They're keeping it so close this match.
Wow! If they keep going like this, we might get to see 9-9.
Right.
Alright. Yeah, as you mentioned, they're just building.
Yeah, early game
Not
is
too
very slow, but
aggressive.
Yuki wants to get something huge, maybe? He's thinking about it. Nice one chain start just to check if anything will fall. Another one chain, once again, just checking. Ooh, Libe received a good piece to respond with. Garbage wasn't too unkind to him. Oh, but Libe doesn't have access to main chain. Okay, he has to break a lot of his resources apart, which means that Yuki can just send everything that he wants now.
Yeah, Live might just not have enough time to respond to this.
Oh. Wow! In the end, he did not manage to respond with enough. Quite surprising.
2, 3.
Libe with a fantastic chain route to get out of that situation, and it is enough to take Yuki out.
Well done.
Wow, even though his board was left with such a mess, he was able to do so well in making sure that Yuki was not able to take advantage.
Years and years of experience from Live. We get to see that in his match, in his playstyle.
Absolutely so. Alright, it looks like Live maybe has a sneaking attack happening at the back of his chain, but he's not ready to send just yet. He wants to put some pressure on Yuki. Yuki does respond to that pressure and makes a 3-chain. And Live did have the piece to respond. He has a way down now, but it's going to take
Might
a
not
few
be
lucky
enough.
pieces. Needs a red and a yellow.
Red and yellow.
Waiting for yellow.
No,
It
it's
was
not
right there.
See you next time.
So
Wow.
close too.
5 to 5. Wow.
Now it really is just the first to 5 from here.
They both are halfway through to the championship.
At the end, they're not such decisive matchups anyway, you know? Whether you're from the older generation or you're one of the newer players, it feels like both types of playstyles have a place in today's game, so really inspiring, I think. Ooh,
one
okay. It is very high up at the moment, so that means that anything from Yuki is very troublesome. Nice, nice.
6 to
Good
5.
spotting there.
Yep.
Yeah, Live left himself a bit weirdly vulnerable. Usually when he's building up that high, he has those 1-chains available to provoke Yuki and make his life a little easier, but this time around, he left himself a little unguarded, and Yuki noticed that immediately.
Again, another good observation coming from Yuki.
Yeah. Alright. Live may be starting off with 2-chain this time. Yep. 2 double into, well, sorry, 1 double into 2. Yuki with a fantastic 4 double, but Live now finally being able to send something really large of his own. 5-chain response. And Yuki now has a very questionable tail. I don't really see how it works. Okay, massive amount of power there. And Live just didn't get a red that whole time and wasn't able to get his chain off as a result. A little unlucky.
Alright, now Yuki is leading a little bit by 2 wins more than Live.
Yep. We're seeing from both players at the moment that they really are taking their time to land a precise attack, and it is often working against their opponent. All it takes is 1 good attack and they'll have advantage.
Alright.
We have a really lopsided build from Live at the moment. He's now starting to break it apart. But the timing was perfect once again.
Well done.
Incredible. Yeah, when your board's in a bad position, you inevitably have to clear some of your Puyos in order to fix it. So you want to make sure that you're clearing them at a time where you won't put yourself in a bad spot. And sometimes you can even use that time to provoke the opponent and gain advantage back, even though your board was worse than theirs.
1 chain coming from Live.
Yeah,
A little
nice.
nervous.
Really good 2-chain from Yuki.
2.
But we have a 3 double 4.
2. 3.
Yuki is now setting off his full chain. Live now has plenty of time to outextend. The question is whether he gets the right colors for it. Red and yellow he is waiting for. Alright, draws them and able to put his full chain fantastically.
5.
The question is, does his chain work the full way? Okay, we have red into yellow into purple, but the purple cuts off early.
Garbage came in.
Retreat.
Oh dear.
Alright, that gives 8 to 6.
Alright, just 2 away from the championship. Live is going to really need to make sure he's covering his weak points at the moment, because otherwise Yuki is going to strike. Alright, a bit of hesitation from Live. He's really thinking about it. Goes for the quick 1-chain. Yuki's in an awkward spot after all. If Live follows up well, it's going to continue leaving him in that state. Oh, it doesn't get the yellow in time! Wow!
Wow, now Yuki is match point. He now has 9 wins. Just 1 more win.
Yeah, 1 more for the championship. Again, Live throwing out those 1-chains, but now it's been a little less precise and Yuki's been able to get an advantage instead off of them. Not what you want to see. Ooh, a bit awkward for Yuki at the moment though. A very lopsided board. If Live now decides to strike, it could be the perfect moment. Alright, that one chain doesn't do too much damage. But again, it's about building discomfort. Nice 2 double fine from Yuki. Really clever. Okay, and now in the end it's even. And in fact, I think Yuki has more resources, so he's going to be more comfortable from this position. Off he goes, sending off a big 4 chain. And, oh, Live with a really nice 3 double, 4 double. Super strong. And his board is in a perfect spot to respond. He just needs to draw this red, and he hesitates, he doesn't know if it's enough. And so he extends and gets it just on time. Whoa, last second. Now, it feels like this extension is unnecessary, but when you're playing against someone like Yuki, you need to make sure your chain is decisive. Oh my gosh, Yuki's chain wraps back around as well and is managing to get a 9 chain? Whoa, this is why Live had to extend to the very last second. Because if not, Yuki would have won right there. Every single move from both these players is mattering to such a massive extent. And now, Live just needs to take this advantage and run with it before Yuki has any time to get put in. Nice.
What an incredible play from Live and Yuki.
Yes. Yuki's second chain ability was just coming through so strongly there. What a complicated chain route. Oh, it looks like he might be looking for a bit of a rush. Nope, okay. Switches off of it. Okay, taking a more gentle approach at the moment. Alright, now looking for the potential attack. But Live has a lot to respond. He actually starts with a 2 double. Now, Yuki does have a response, but it leaves his chain a little lopsided. That's okay though, because the attack does land on Live. Live now needs to get a red to get down.
There we go. Still makes sense. Okay.
Okay, he's alive for the time being, but he's very cramped. But
there we go.
He draws a red and manages to get down really well. Yuki now just has to defend himself. Does so pretty successfully. But Live's following up. Oh, Yuki goes for the massive dismantle. But actually, that was maybe too much of a resource spend because Live is keeping up. And his chain is in a good position now. At this point, Yuki now has too much garbage on his field to make a really efficient chain. Ooh, okay, 3 double into the 4 from Live. That is going to be quite overwhelming. Yuki is forced to main chain. Live needs to draw another blue. Okay, gets it.
6 chain.
Nice, nice. And with the time that he forced Yuki to spend sending that chain, Live is able to swing it back.
Wow.
Really nice.
9-8.
What an awesome reversal at the top of the board. It really looked like Live was in a tough position to even survive, but in the end he took advantage from it. That is some masterful play.
Just amazing play coming from those 2 players throughout this grand final.
Yuki posing that 2 doubles a threat, okay, decides to go for it because he spotted the perfect chance to do so. Oh, Live is forced to main chain. I don't know if he actually wanted to do that, but Yuki has too much time to extend and respond. Okay, 7. Does Yuki have enough to beat a 7 chain and take this home? 6 double
6,
into
7.
the 7, and Live does not manage to get his piece to set his second chain off.
Alright, so that was the grand finals, Yuki versus Live, and the victory goes to Yuki. Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Oh my god, what an incredible grand final we got to see. Congratulations once again to Yuki. What did you think about the final match?
That was completely insane. I think
know.
both players were just so good at constructing those second chains, especially. Just keeping it back and forth, never letting that disadvantaged state actually wear them down.
Yep. And Yuki was so good. It was like amazingly good at seeing through the vulnerability from Live. Whenever he had any sort of vulnerability of in his screen, like he did not like let it go. Yuki was like, this is my chance, I'm gonna take it, and he did that every single time. What an incredible player. Again, congratulations to Yuki. All right, so I mean, it was incredible games today. We got to see so many incredible games. And we actually got all the top 8 ranking results as well. So let's take a look. There we go. Once again, congratulations to Yuki for winning the first place today. And second place goes to Live. And top 4, Tom and Villain. Tom's from Japan, Villain's from Korea. And top 8 is Ku, Kiora, Shake Goha, and Punichan Puyo. Congratulations to all the players. And thank you so much to all the players who participated in today's tournament. And also the updated global point rankings, including today's points, will be available on the official PGRS website starting tomorrow. So you can also find the link to the official site in the YouTube description below, so please make sure to check it out. And finally, we'll share some Puyo Puyo esports information. So first, we'd like to share the upcoming schedule for the PGRS series. Our next PGRS ST2 is coming up on Saturday, July 25th. And we also have a tournament hosted by Ascension coming up on Saturday, June 27th. And there are community tournaments as well. Registration for each event will be opening up very soon, so please check the official PGRS website for all the details. And this year's PGRS has finally kicked off. And that brings us to the end of today's program. Yoshi, how was today's tournament?
I think it's just an explosive start to a very exciting season of PGRS for this year. Right now, we are keeping our eyes on Villain, who was the only player who made it to top 8 and in fact top 4. So everyone's going to be chasing his points for the rest of this season now.
Yep, and thank you, Yoshi. And also thank you to everyone who have been watching the stream. And I really hope that everyone enjoy the tournament. And PGRS is just getting started, and tournaments is open to everyone. So if you got interested, why not jump in and participate yourselves? And also, a big thank you to all the players who showed us such incredible battles today. Thank you to all. And we'll see you guys again. Bye! Thank you very much.